the sun sets on summer, yes, that season is winding down, but you'll still be taking every chance to dine on the deck. Nothing better than dinner outdoors. Keep the gas grill hot for one dish that includes basically all of the food groups, and it's an awesome way to utilize the fall harvest that will be coming in aplenty and landing on your table. Our basket today is loaded, you can see, with a wide variety of favorites like, oh, we've got spinach, we've got potatoes, peppers, squash blossoms, mushrooms, farm eggs, pears, onions, even some cheeses tucked in there. Becky Low has today's dinner idea for us, and by looking at that basket and all of that yummy color, fresh produce, I'm excited already. What are we making?
Grilled pizza, grilled farmers market pizza.
Okay, okay.
You know, grilled pizza is very popular right now, so this is a wonderful time to take advantage of the farmers market and everything that's available there. In fact, Bon Appetit calls it the perfect canvas for farmers market produce.
I agree. You've got that, you know, basic, that base there, the dough, and you can pile on whatever fits your fancy. Before we get to the toppings, let's start with the actual dough. What do you recommend?
Okay, you can make your own. In fact, I have placed a recipe on the website for the homemade, and this is the one that I prefer. Okay. Okay, but if you don't have that, then you can just buy the pre-made pizza dough from the bakery or the deli section from your grocery stores. Yeah, so you can do that. But it is so fast and so inexpensive and so easy to do with the homemade that I recommend doing it. Okay. Okay, so we have the balls ready to go, and we're going to flatten those out, but we're going to let that sit for just a second longer. Okay. And talk for just a minute about some of the produce and some of the things that we're actually going to put on it. Now, we said that it's the perfect canvas for the farmer's market, and so so here's just a couple of things to look for: spaghetti or Chinese beans, yard-long beans. Okay. Squash blossoms would be another one. Grilled peppers, sun-dried tomatoes, potatoes. You don't often think about potatoes on a pizza, but new potatoes this time of the year are wonderful. You put them with a little bit of rosemary, and they're great. Okay. So, you know, some nice things there. Or squash. You don't often think about squash. On pizza? Yeah. Do you?
No,
have you had squash on pizza?
No, I have not.
Okay, so there are some ideas with it. And the spinach. Now, I'll just say the preparation with the vegetables, you want to cook those or wilt them ahead of time. Not wilt them because of the sun.
I was like, wilting is usually not a good thing.
Yeah, but you do. You want to pre-cook them so that they're ready to go.
Are we pre-cooking the dough too?
Okay, the pre-cooking of the dough, I like to cook it with it. But, you know, some of your vegetables like tomatoes and some of your heirloom tomatoes are extremely juicy. Yeah, that can get soggy on the crust. So we want to be careful with those. And in that case, pre-cooking the dough would be a nice thing or a nice alternative.
Okay, as we've been saying today out on the Studio 5 Plaza, grilled pizza, the perfect canvas for that farmer's market stash. Becky Low is helping us not only assess our options when it comes to toppings, but helping us keep our grilled pizza from going soggy. We rolled out our dough about a 10 to 12 inch diameter. Yep. And you mentioned ahead of time you prefer to cook the dough with the toppings
I do, which is what I have done with this one. So, you know, kind of unique. In fact, you said, have you ever thought about putting farm fresh eggs on your pizza?
So eggs, squash.
There you go. Yeah, you can put a lot with it. So let's build up a couple of these. Okay. We've rolled out our dough, and now we're ready to put, you know, you don't want it soggy. Right. And so a couple of things is, one, limiting the amount of sauce that you put on it.
Like how much?
Okay, about 1/4 cup. So once you spread that around, it really is not going to look like you have enough with it.
So a lot less than people might think.
Why don't you put some olive oil on yours?
Okay. Just a little drizzle?
Whoa. Yep, just a little drizzle. And then, you know what I like to do, in fact, my hands are dirty, so I'm just going to spread that around.
Sorry, it came out a little faster than anticipated.
Okay, now that's if you're not putting a sauce on top of it. And you look at mine with the sauce, it looks like it's not enough.
Yeah, barely covered.
Okay, now next, we're going with our cheeses.
What do you recommend?
I love fresh mozzarella or fontina, provolone, Munster. You know, it's basically whatever you like, but I like a combination of them.
This is where the fancier cheeses, I feel like, blend really well.
Absolutely. Why don't you put some fontina on that and just kind of spread those around. I'm going to put some mozzarella on mine, and you can break that so that you have the little pieces.
Don't we love how Becky says mozzarella?
And And if you like to make your mozzarella, then you can. Now, you don't want to go really heavy with your pizza ingredients. More is less. I mean, less is more. Let me get that straight. A little bit more on there. And let's put those.
Less is more. A little bit more cheese. A little bit more.
Put those off to the side. Okay, next, let's do your squash blossoms. So go ahead and arrange those.
I'm still a little skeptical about this idea. Am I separating these?
Are kind of flatten those. You don't even have to tear them much. You know, you're putting the whole thing on. They are edible.
They're pretty.
And so you're ready to go. On mine, I'm going to do more of the traditional, so I'm going to put some of this on. What else would you like on yours? Maybe some mushrooms.
Sure.
I love the sauteed mushrooms. And again, this is where you would cook them up ahead of time.
I'm still thrown off a little bit by the squash blossom. I don't know if I've ever eaten one of those.
Well, there you go.
Well,
you can try it today.
Today's the day.
Okay, fresh garlic, but sliced very thin. So, you know, why don't you put a little bit of that on?
Okay.
Now you're going to smell like garlic, and if people like garlic, they're going to love you for the rest of the day.
My husband will be smooching me all night.
I'm going to put some green olives on mine. Okay, you could put a little bit of bacon on them, you know, whichever you'd like. Now, let's put a little bit more on yours, since we talk about having a combination of cheeses.
What happened to less is more, Becky?
Well,
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
We're not going to overload it. It's not a stuffed pizza. And by the way, we have rolled this very thin. So this is a thin crust. The crust is going to be the last to bake, and so we want it to bake really quickly.
That looks pretty. Very colorful.
It does.
Very healthy.
Okay, last thing is sprinkle on a little bit of Parmesan cheese.
Yeah.
And I like it along the edges.
What was that other cheese you put on mine? Is that feta?
Fontina and some queso fresco.
Oh, okay.
Or mozzarella or feta.
Okay.
Now, the feta has a tendency to dry out.
Right.
So, okay, now.
I'm feeling good about this.
Yep, you could put some black pepper on. I like to leave the salt until the very end. You could actually put a little bit of tomato.
Okay.
You know, not too many, just a couple.
Becky is
for some
loading
color.
me up.
All right, then what we do, let me show you what we've got going here in the oven.
What is this on?
That's a pizza screen, and that's what I like. You know, I can just prepare it right on the screen, and because it is a screen, then the heat comes through.
Got it.
But it also comes through a little bit too fast and has a tendency to burn it. So what I've done, before this grill was heated, I put a piece of foil on it. Go ahead and put it on. It bakes from 4 to 8 minutes.
I'm excited.
Depending on how thick your crust is and how many ingredients you have on. And that foil with the shiny side down helps to deflect the heat so that it kind of surrounds the whole thing with heat rather than just straight up from the bottom and over brown the bottom.
I am liking this idea, and so many fun flavor combinations to play with.
Absolutely. In fact, this is a fun thing for a party.
Yeah.
My Jesse and Matt Brown are the ones that first introduced me to it, and they do a tag team with it. So she throws the dough and tops them, and he grills them.
He's the grill master.
He's the grill master.
I love it. Well, thank them for sharing with you, and thank you for sharing with us. We appreciate that. It's a pay-it-forward food recipe. We're excited to share. Yeah, utilize your farmers markets for sure, and there's some great pizza flavor combinations for you, different sauces you can opt for, and of course, all of Becky's grilling tips. It's posted for your convenience on our recipe page. That can be found at studio5.ksl.com. Just click that recipe tab at the top of your screen.